Previously, Jiang had made it clear that if Sang Ji-yu interfered between him and Li Yeji, they would end their friendship. When Jiang confronted Sang Ji-yu, he asked if Sang Ji-yu understood the situation. In response, Sang Ji-yu begged Jiang to let go of his wrist as he collapsed, asking if Jiang valued Li Yeji more than their friendship. Jiang admitted he still saw Sang Ji-yu as a friend but then left with the rest of the group. As Jun Min and Chai Yun walked away, Sang Ji-yu yelled at Jun Min, accusing him of betraying their friendship. Jun Min grabbed Sang Gu's hair and questioned their friendship himself before leaving. Sang Ji-yu felt deceived and thrown aside, but he blamed Jiang for everything. Meanwhile, Jiang checked on Li Yeji, concerned about her face, and suggested she go to the hospital since Myung Jun and Young Jian were going there to see Ji Hyeon. Li Yeji agreed to go with them. Elsewhere, Du Park arrived at the entrance of the Red Dragon Underground Arena, nervous but trying to look composed. He showed a VIP card, surprising the security guard, and walked in. In the bathroom, he met a bald man who complained about the lack of tissues and wiped his hands on Du Park's clothes. This annoyed Du Park, but he restrained himself for the sake of Gai Sang. Another man questioned how Du Park got into the arena and threw his cap down in frustration. Unable to hold back any longer, Du Park punched the man, knocking him out. The bald man then asked if Du Park was there to fight. Du Park wasn't initially there to fight, but he ended up punching the bald man too. After realizing the bald man had faked being knocked out to avoid more hits, Du Park washed his blood-covered hands and found that there were indeed tissues, which led him to hit the bald man once more. Du Park then sat down, taking in his surroundings, when a member of the Red Dragon Gang became suspicious, wondering if he might be a cop, and questioned why he was there. Du Park explained that he got in using a VIP card, which surprised the man. Feeling nervous, Du Park admitted that Won Hyo, whom he described as a close friend, gave him the card. The man, who introduced himself as Ji-do, quickly apologized. Curious about the place, Du Park asked for details, and Ji-do told him that during the week it served as a fight club, attracting gangsters and independent fighters eager to show off their skills. Good fighters might get noticed and could be recruited by the Red Dragon Gang. Du Park felt uneasy upon realizing that the fight club was a means for the Red Dragon to bolster their ranks, especially since Ji-do mentioned an upcoming showdown with the Fire Bear Gang. Ji-do shook Du Park's hand, saying he hoped to see him around. Then, Dam, Won Hyo's father and the leader of the Red Dragon, arrived. He noticed the boss seemed more composed than the Fire Bear leader and saw that gang members wore red ties, but those close to the boss wore yellow, which made him suspect that those in red might be impersonating the Fire Bear Gang to stir up trouble. This frustrated Du Park. As the boss sat down and called for the event to start, a group arrived with the host, Won Young. The competition was about to begin, but the fighter Kim Dae-mok was nowhere to be found. Ji-do begged Du Park to step in for the missing fighter, who turned out to be the bald man Du Park had punched earlier in the bathroom. Seeing an opportunity to learn about the Red Dragon's strength, Du Park agreed to fight. In the ring, Du Park faced his opponent, Hayashi Kim, who unexpectedly drew a sword. Despite being caught off guard, Du Park confidently raised his hand, causing confusion before he revealed his own weapon, a trusty wrench. As Hayashi charged, Du Park tried to defend himself with the wrench, though he wasn't sure if he could manage the situation. As Du Park successfully defended himself from the attack, he knew he needed a different plan as Hayashi Kim geared up for another strike. To everyone's surprise, Du Park dropped his wrench and asked to fight with just his fists. Hayashi Kim was initially taken aback but agreed to the fair fight. Du Park moved first, grabbing Hayashi's robe, trying to throw him down, only to find out it was just a robe. Hayashi Kim seized this moment and punched Du Park in the face. Caught off guard by Hayashi's speed, Du Park was hit again. As Hayashi launched more punches to Du Park's stomach and face and tried another kick, Du Park caught his leg and punched him in the face. Du Park continued to punch Hayashi Kim, driving him back against the fence. The Red Dragon boss, watching the fight, was impressed by Du Park's raw fighting ability, realizing he wasn't formally trained but had a natural talent for brawling. When Hayashi Kim passed out, the fight was halted and Du Park was declared the winner. Then Kim Min-woo showed up, pointing out to Jeon-woo that an interesting new fighter had entered the scene. Meanwhile, the trio reached the hospital and met Ji Hyeon, who was thrilled to see them and shared that she'd be leaving the hospital soon. As Du Park observed the next fight, he was worried about facing Seo Dal, who displayed formidable strength. The third match began with Hyo Gyun and Go Won-il, Go Won-il's kicks and swipes were ineffective against Hyo Gyun, who ended the match with a single, powerful punch that knocked out Go Won-il. Hyo Gyun then shouted a challenge to Jian Woo, who was with Kim Min-woo. Jian Woo got the boss's permission to join the fight. Do Park wondered if Kim Min-woo could be Eun Chan-woo since they looked alike. Ji-do told Do Park that Jian Woo was the Red Dragon Gang's rising new star and was only 18, still in his second year of high school, which shocked Do Park. As the fight began, Jian Woo skillfully dodged a punch and countered with an uppercut, followed by a punch to the face that knocked his opponent out cold. Watching this, Do Park was shaken by the skill he witnessed and realized he had to lose his next match to avoid facing Jian Woo. Meanwhile, Jiang and Jang So were honing their skills during a training session. Jiang lunged at Jang So, using his grip strength to land a surprise blow to Jang So's side, even through the body armor. The liver shot took Jang So down, making him realize that Jiang had not only a powerful grip but also mastery over 3 distinct types of grip strength. Jang So grinned, suspecting they might have just discovered Jiang's new move. In the arena, it was Do Park's turn to face Seo Dal. Do Park intended to throw the match, but he was unexpectedly faced with Seo Dal's weak punches. The crowd began to get restless, shouting for a real fight. Annoyed, Do Park threw a punch at Seo Dal's face, which got the crowd excited. He tried to target Seo Dal's legs to bring him down, but the size difference was too much, and he failed. Eventually, Do Park found himself in a headlock. He could have escaped but instead chose to tap out, feigning unconsciousness to ensure his loss. Kim Min-woo observed the match from a distance, pondering if he recognized Do Park. After the match, Ji-do praised Do Park's performance and suggested he get proper training with the Red Dragon Gang. Do Park turned down the offer but accepted Ji-do's business card in case he reconsidered later. Satisfied with gaining Ji-do's trust, Do Park made his way out. Ji-do advised him to stay for the final match, and Do Park agreed. As he watched, he discreetly took a photo of Kim Min-woo and recorded the fight between Jian Woo and Seo Dal. Seo Dal threw the first punch but Jian Woo dodged quickly and hit Seo Dal in the stomach. Seo Dal staggered, barely staying upright after a hit to the face. When the referee checked on him, Seo Dal insisted he could continue. In the meantime, the Red Dragon boss told Ji-do to keep an eye on Do Park and try to get him to join their gang. Ji-do had already given Do Park his card when he was commended by the boss. During the match, Seo Dal kept throwing punches at Jian Woo, but none of them landed. When Seo Dal lunged for another punch, Jian Woo countered with a sharp uppercut, promptly ending the fight. After he finished secretly recording the match, Do Park left, with Kim Min-woo watching him closely. Later on, Do Park met up with his guys to share the intel he'd collected, including a photo of someone he thought was Eun Chan-woo. To his friend Sang's astonishment, the photo turned out to be of Kim Min-woo, revealing that a member of the Fire Bear Gang was in the Red Dragon arena. Just as Guy Sang was about to make a call, Jae-wook stopped him, urging him to put down the phone. Jae-wook revealed that the person impersonating the Fire Bear Gang was likely Kim Min-woo, catching Guy Sang off guard. Jae-wook suspected that C1 was in the know but wouldn't betray the Fire Bear Gang for nothing, hinting he might have a plan. They agreed to keep this revelation to themselves. Jae-wook then shared his plans to visit the young master's siblings, which surprised Guy Sang, who was unaware that the young master had any. Jae-wook theorized that C1 might be assisting another sibling in the bid to succeed Jiang's father as the leader of the Fire Bear Gang, who had not yet chosen a successor. As Do Park was about to leave, Guy Sang impressed upon him the importance of keeping the situation under wraps and to look out for Jiang, which Do Park agreed to. Right then, Do Park got a call from Won Hyo, who seemed to be aware of Do Park's recent actions and requested a meeting. Meanwhile, after Jiang and Jang So wrapped up their training session, Myung-jun briefed them on a new strategy as they walked towards the Mujin High neighborhood. They ran into the 2 girls who had previously escaped from Guy Sang. The girls introduced themselves and offered to exchange information over drinks at a nice spot. As one of the girls served a drink, Jiang assumed it was non-alcoholic and took a sip, not realizing it was actually alcoholic. The girls started talking about Mujin High and brought up the 7 executives, including their boss, Wong. The 7th executive, Kim Woon-sik, is strong but not very bright. The 6th, Ju-wook, isn't much of a fighter but always has a weapon on him. The 5th, Park Han-byul, looks innocent but is actually skilled in combat. Choi Byung-ho, the 4th, might not excel in fighting, but he's the one who provides financial backing. The 3rd is Lee Chong-min, who tends to pick on the weaker kids. The 2nd in command, Shin Jiang is probably the strongest and happens to be good friends with Du Park. And the top executive, Heo Park, took over the #1 spot after Park Woo Jang vanished. Heo Park is especially known for his muscular thighs, which he got from cycling. The girl wondered what Du Park and the student body president were up to, guessing that without them, Jiren High would have fallen apart a long time ago. Myung Jun dropped the news that Jiang had beaten Won Heo, which caught the girls off guard. As they were about to head out, Lee Yeji called Myung Jun, who teasingly called her by her nickname, Yi Jiz, which annoyed her. She asked them to meet her at the playground. When Young Jian and Lee Yeji got there, they found Myung Jun and Jiang drunk. Jiang was bragging about all the info they had gotten on Mujin High from the girls, which made young Jian anxious because Lee Yeji had spent so much time studying the school. They tried to act like they didn't know much, but Jiang, not grasping the tension, spilled until he noticed Lee Yeji was upset. Myung Jun and Jiang eventually confessed that they really needed Lee Yeji to help them win their upcoming fight. This seemed to cool her off, and she forgave them. As Lee Yeji started sharing what she knew, she pointed out that the Mujin High members went to different schools and delegated young Jian to lead a surprise attack on executives 7-3 since they walked to school by themselves. When Jiang called out the sneakiness of the tactic, Lee Yeji explained that a direct confrontation with Mujin High was out of the question since they had way more people. Jang So convinced him that ambushing wasn't dishonorable, which got Jiang back on board. Meanwhile, Du Park met up with Won Heo, who showed him a recording of his fight and warned that if his dad found out about it, Du Park would end up dead. Won Heo didn't want that to happen, so he made a deal to keep Du Park's actions a secret. But there's one more person they need to keep quiet. Won Young, the host from the arena and Won Heo's older sister. Won Young suggests they grab coffee and talk. As they leave, Won Heo is worried that he can't keep the situation at Mujin High under control anymore. Wong calls a meeting with the executives and shares that Jiren High and Sangnaeum High have teamed up and taken down Mujin High. He points out that they haven't been attacked yet because they're seen as the strongest. The next day, they put their ambush plan into action, splitting into 4 teams to target executives 7-4. The ambush kicks off, and the first team quickly knocks out Kim Woon-sik, the 7th executive, using bats. The second team does the same to Ju Wook, the 6th executive. However, when the third team goes after Choi Byung-ho, the 4th executive, they're surprised to find he's not alone. He's with 2 other guys. But Jang So keeps the team focused, reminding them that they have 3 people as well. Meanwhile, young Jian is hiding, getting ready to ambush Park Han-byul, the 5th executive. As the previous team attacks and one of them lands a punch on Choi Byung-ho, Chong Woo snatches his phone away and stomps on him, taking him out of the fight. Back with young Jian, things go sideways when one of the Sangnaeum students rushes in too soon and gets beaten up immediately. Confused, young Jian questions what the rest are waiting for. While all this is happening, Jiang is leaving his house and runs into Lee Yeji. They join up with Jang So and Myung Jun. Lee Yeji says her goodbyes to carry out the rest of the plan, and the trio continues towards Mujin High. Meanwhile, Wong is confused and can't get in touch with the other executives. None of them are answering their phones. Suddenly, the door bursts open and in walks a trio led by Jiang, catching them off guard. Jiang asks Wong why he's so surprised, reminding him of his promise to take down the Super Alliance. As the 5th executive hesitates, young Jian tries to punch him but gets kicked in the face instead. He's taken aback by the executive's strength. While other students try to tackle the executive, one gets knocked out with a swift kick, another is punched, and a third is kicked in the neck and drops to the ground. Park Han-byul is surprised when young Jian comes from behind and puts him in a chokehold. Even after being kicked in the legs, young Jian hangs on and manages to knock out Park Han-byul. After the scuffle, young Jian catches his breath and thinks over his success in taking down the executive. Wong can't believe what's happening to the other executives and calls them cowards, but Jiang isn't bothered by the insult. Ho Park is confused about why Myung Jun is fighting with them. Myung Jun suggests that they have scared the 3rd executive, Chong Min. Jang So is surprised by how talkative Chong Min is and wonders if he's always been like this. Chong Min, nervously, challenges Jang So to a fight, claiming he's outnumbered, but he's quickly punched in the face and knocked out, shocking the other executives. Jang So announces that the fight is now even at 3-3. Myung Jun is the first to move, trying to kick the top executive, who blocks it. They go back and forth in their fight. Meanwhile, Jang So squares off against Shin Jiang-ho. Before they fight, Shin Jiang asks Jang So how much he can lift. Jang So answers that he never really counted, but it's around 600 kilograms, which angers Shin Jiang since his record is 580 kilograms. Shin Jiang throws a punch, but Jang So dodges it and lands a knee to his stomach. Jiang warns Wong to be careful because he has a new move that could be dangerous for his opponent. Wong ignores the warning, but Jiang So advises Jiang to use it only when absolutely necessary because it could be life-threatening. While distracted by this exchange, Jang So gets punched in the face but insists he's fine, making Shin Jiang nervous. Wong lands a punch on Jiang, who blocks it but is still shocked by the power. Jiang dodges the next punch but can't move away from the third, which hits him in the face. Jiang figures out that he can't take on Wong directly. He dodges a punch and gets in close, putting his hand on Wong's collarbone to execute his pickaxe technique. Wong gets mad, but then he notices blood on his hand. To his shock, Jiang's fingers have gone right through his skin. Wong starts to worry about winning without Jiang there. Jiang goes for another hit, but Wong, concerned, protects his collarbone, which leaves him open to a punch in the face. The pain makes him cry out, surprising everyone. Wong says he's going to fight for real now and challenges Jiang to use only his fists. Jiang blocks a punch but then takes a kick to the stomach, which sends him back. Wong comes at him with another punch, but Jiang dodges it, grabs his hand, and flips him over. Wong, getting annoyed by Jiang's moves, dares him to use his special technique. He's scared Jiang might actually do it and tries to guard his face and collarbone, but Jiang manages to land the infinite pickaxe move anyway. Wong screams in pain and drops to his knees, spent. Jiang stands there with bloodied fingers, and Wong's collarbone is wrecked. The other executives watching start to freak out at the sight. Jiang proclaims his win and the fall of their so-called super asshole alliance. Suddenly, Wong pulls out his phone, insisting he needs Jiang, thinking Jiang has been underestimating him. Meanwhile, students from Juran High and Sangnium High have tied up the other executives and are on their way to Mujin High. Just as Shin Jiang yells out Wong's name, Jang So catches him off guard and trips him, making him crash face first into the ground. Shin Jiang boasts that they have a lot of people waiting outside and that no one will get out without a scratch. Jiang insists he'll take care of things, which annoys his friends because he's going off script. He tells them about something his uncle Wook said. Once the leader is down, the rest will fall into line. Myung-jun accepts it's time for Plan B. Hyo Park takes a swing at Myung-jun. He dodges and counters with a kick that sends Hyo Park's hat and glasses flying, exposing his pink hair. He yells at Chong Min to stop faking his injury and get their ride ready. As the ride comes into play, Myung-jun is thrown off by what's happening but then gets the gist. Hyo Park uses his speed to his advantage, hitting Myung-jun hard. As Hyo Park keeps circling, he unleashes a barrage of blows using his shadow clone technique and tells Myung-jun it's over for him. At the entrance of Mujin High, Lee Yeji is keeping an eye on the students gathered outside, ready to launch an attack when young Jiang's group arrives. But unexpectedly, Jiang dashes out, bragging about beating Wong. The students, however, aren't swayed, and their morale stays high. Lee Yeji had predicted this and quickly orders her squad to back Jiang up, even without young Jiang's team. They jump into the fray to support Jiang. Park Han Biel comes to but is still tied up. Jian-woo spots him and wonders if he's one of their own. Meanwhile, Hyo Park and Myung-jun are still going at it. Myung-jun is clearly worn out but insists he's not finished. Hyo Park looks ready to finish the duel by getting off his unicycle and wielding the top part as a weapon against Myung-jun. Jang So tries to help but gets blindsided by Chong Min and takes a hit to the face. As Myung-jun goes down, the three of them turn on Jang So. Unfazed, Jang So challenges them, evading Shin Jiang-ho's punch and striking back. He then grabs Chong Min by the throat and starts hitting him, making Hyo Park anxious about the situation. Hyo Park whips out a knife from under his bike seat and charges at Jang So, but Chong Min and Jiang-ho try to hold him back. Despite their efforts, Hyo Park accidentally stabs Jang So in the thigh. Jang So fights back, throwing Chong Min to the ground and elbowing Shin Jiang-ho in the face. Hyo Park, frightened, threatens to stab Jang So again if he comes any closer. Jang So dares him to try and ends up getting punched in the face, which nearly knocks him out because he's losing so much blood. Outside the school, the situation heats up when young Jian's team arrives and jumps into the fray. Lee Yeji is excited about their progress and messages Du Park. Then she spots someone entering the school, snaps a picture, and sends it to Du Park to see if he recognizes them. In the meantime, Jian enters the fight and quickly knocks out a student from Juren High with one punch. Si Jun tries to attack, but Jian punches him too, sending him reeling back towards Jiang. Jiang introduces himself as the head of Juren High and asks who Jian is. Up on the rooftop, Gai Sang and other uncles are watching the commotion and speculate whether Jian might be a member of the Red Dragon Gang in disguise. Jian announces he's returning to Mujin High and punches Jiang, who manages to block the punch but still ends up crashing into a brick wall. Li Yeji is stunned by the turn of events. Jiang, realizing the strength of Jian knows he has to use his best move or he's done for. The uncles on the roof are concerned, and Gai Sang suggests they should call Jae Wook to let him know they're on the brink of a war with the Red Dragon Gang. Despite being hit repeatedly, Jian stands strong and hits back, slamming Jiang into the wall, leaving him bloody and in pain. Jiang struggles to stay calm and avoid using his secret technique. Jang So helps Myung-jun up, and they both watch the showdown between Jiang and Jian Jian seems interested in a fight with Jang So, but Jiang gets up, ready to keep battling. Myung-jun updates Li Yeji and young Jian about their injuries, and Jang So quickly bandages up his stab wound as Jian prepares for another attack. Jiang swiftly dodges and takes the opportunity to unleash his most powerful move. With just one shot to make it work, he strikes a precise hit to Jian liver, forcing him to his knees. Their group cheers, but their celebration is brief because Jiang is suddenly hit in the stomach. He can't believe his signature move didn't end the fight. As Jian approaches, he announces that Jiren High is now under the control of Mujin High. Jiang insists the battle isn't over, but Jian declares it finished, which makes Gai Sang furious, although he's held back from stepping in. Suddenly, Jang So steps in and points out that Jiang had already fought against Mujin High's leader and wasn't fighting at full strength as he positions himself in front of Jiang to face Jian Gai Sang, watching from afar, feels proud and comments that Jang So is always welcome to join the Fire Bear Gang. As the fight is about to escalate, Jian attacks Jang So, who manages to block the punch but still feels the impact, which leaves him wounded. As Jian next punch comes in, Jang So grabs his hand and tries to flip him, but the pain in his thigh makes him buckle, causing Jian to hit his head on the ground. Jian gets up, to the shock of everyone, and thanks Jang So for the unintended neck massage. Gai Sang observes with a mix of concern and admiration, noting that Jian could have been seriously hurt from that fall. Jian takes off his shirt and goes at Jang So with another punch. Jang So, injured, manages to block it, but he's unsure how long he can keep this up with his injured leg. He fights back, and they exchange a rapid succession of blows. Jang So starts bleeding from the side of his head, and Myung-jun feels responsible, thinking that if only he had defeated Hyo Park, Jang So wouldn't have been stabbed. Despite reaching his limit, Jang So refuses to give up. He taunts Jian to come at him again. As Jian punch misses, Jang So counters with a hard body shot to the same spot Jiang had hit earlier. Jian starts feeling the impact of the fight and, getting angry, hits Jang So directly where he's hurt. To Jian surprise, Jang So keeps standing, so he hits him again in the thigh, dropping Jang So to his knees as the beating continues. Jiang gets angry and tries to step in, but Li Yeji holds him back, asking young Jian for help to restrain him. Jian then lands a heavy kick to Jang So's head, making his vision blur from the blood loss, but Jang So gets up again. Myung-jun feels guilty and considers going back to the school to get the knife Hyo Park used. Then, Du Park shows up and attempts to settle Myung-jun down. Jian thinks the fight is over, but then he's hit in the head unexpectedly. Jian tells Du Park to leave, but Du Park reveals that Jang So is his beloved younger brother. Recognizing Du Park from an underground fight arena, Jian accuses him of throwing a fight to avoid facing him. Du Park denies it, but Jian keeps insisting, annoyed he never got to fight the head of the Super Asshole Alliance. Du Park defends himself, and Gai Sang, watching from afar, is proud to see his sharp and dependable junior stepping in. Unable to reason with Jian Du Park hits him in the already injured spot. Jian yells out in pain and drops to his knees. Du Park notices Jian is bleeding badly and realizes it must be from Jiang's earlier strike. As Jian weakening fast, starts acting desperately and lunges at Du Park and Jang So. Du Park catches his hand. Jang So delivers a powerful punch straight to Jian Wu's liver. Jian Wu spits out blood and collapses to his knees, leading Du Park and Jang So to think they've won the fight. The students from Mujin High are stunned by the turn of events, while their leaders debate whether to step in. Amidst their celebration, Wong watches with a smirk, wondering if Jian Wu has truly been defeated. Jian Wu stands up again, ripping off his pants, leaving everyone shocked. Wong announces that the true Jian Wu is back, now driven by fury. Attempting to strike, Jian Wu goes after Du Park, who dodges the attacks but is surprised by Jian Wu's sudden speed increase. Du Park starts to wonder if Jian Wu has lost his mind. As Du Park avoids an attack and hits him in the same vulnerable spot again, Jian Wu begins to swing wildly, making Wong worry that he might lose control. In a last-ditch effort, Wong signals for the other leaders to get involved. But then, the school bell rings, and the student council president questions Du Park about why he's involved in a fight after claiming he wouldn't be. Du Park insists he was attacked first. He's shocked by the intensity of the situation, not realizing at first that the person he thought was Wong isn't actually him. Wong spots him and is confused by his appearance. Hyeon, noticing the extent of the injuries around, wonders who inflicted them. Jiang claims responsibility for taking down Wong and is puzzled why the fight is still going on after the leader has been bested. Du Park attempts to explain that Jian Wu isn't listening to reason, but before he can finish, Jian Wu tries to land a punch on Hyeon. Unfazed, Hyeon takes the hits, realizing they're weak and that Jian Wu is seriously injured and on the verge of passing out. Deciding against fighting back, Hyeon holds back a punch at the last moment, the air from the missed strike hitting Jian Wu, who then faints, to everyone's astonishment. Wong tries to approach the collapsed Jian Wu, but Hyeon tells him to stop, acknowledging their defeat and Mujin High's victory. Jiang shouts in celebration of their win, and as the group starts their victory celebration, the uncles observing the scene feel proud of their young charge. Jiang talks about throwing a congratulatory party, prompting the uncles to prepare for it. However, Guy Sang says he has something to attend to first. Du Park and Hyeon carry Jian Wu off to the hospital, while Wong tells his friends to go ahead without him, promising to catch up later. Suddenly, he feels a hand on his head. It's Guy Sang, holding a razor, surprising Wong. Guy Sang casually remarks there's no need to worry about the rain since the razor is waterproof as he stands there ready to use it. Curious about what comes next? Click on this video to continue. And don't forget to like and subscribe.